Good evening, Your Eminence. A public policy question with regards to frozen human embryos. There are tens of thousands of human embryos frozen across the United States that we know of, either as a result of in vitro fertilization or experimentation from the scientific community. What should legislators and other elected officials do to address the frozen human embryos who are frozen and may be there for 10, 20, 30, 40 years to come?
This is a more complicated and specific question, which a general practitioner like Cardinal Arinze may not be able to answer you immediately. If you are very interested, please write out for that, because this is a question of legislators. And then I will give it to our expert, Bishop Sgreccia in Rome. He is our expert on things touching life, and he can handle that. You know, there are many things that I do not know. I would be able to give a general answer, but I want that you get the very best and the most specific so that they be not misled. And I'm in no way expert in that area. So if it continues to interest you, give it to me in writing with your address tomorrow. Latest after Mass tomorrow.
Your Eminence, thank you for your prophetic witness. I am a father of 3 small children, and we go to daily Mass 7 days a week. And when we approach communion time, we all go to the altar together, and usually we go with our children in front of us. And recently, our local bishop has made a directive that parents should keep their children from approaching for a blessing in single file in the communion line. And it perplexed me a little bit, the directive, because it seemed to go against Jesus' directive of not to hinder the children to come to him. And also the priest's consecrated hands and his power to effect grace in a blessing upon a child. It seemed to contradict that as well. So I was just wondering what your opinion was on that directive. I know that there probably is no liturgical directive against that.
There is no liturgical directive against that, and there is no liturgical directive in favor of that. None. Therefore, it is left to local practice. I would like you to know there are very few countries where that is done. United States is one, and perhaps Britain. Most countries in the world don't do it. In most parts of the world, when it is time for Holy Communion, only those who de facto are coming to receive communion come forward. Nevertheless, there are some parts where a Protestant who knows he should not receive communion comes and gets a blessing. Or even a Catholic who knows he should not receive communion. We are not to ask him why. We are not God to judge the conscience. Comes and gets a blessing. So it is done in some countries. We examined it in Rome when we wrote the document on the Holy Eucharist, Redemptionis Sacramentum, 4 years ago. We decided to say nothing about it in order to allow freedom to the diocese. Therefore, a bishop has the right to say, please don't do it this way or do it the other way. It is not a point worth fighting over. Therefore, follow the directive of the bishop on that point. Okay. That the children come to Christ to get his blessing, of course. The bishop would not have said, don't bring the child to the priest to bless at any time. I understand him as only saying, when it is time for Holy Communion, let it be only those who are coming to receive Holy Communion. Yes.
And then just a practical follow-up to that, are we to leave our children then in the pew, or is, even small children in the pew at time of communion, or are we supposed to, because a lot of, aisles in churches, they're not wide enough to carry them by your side. So practically, it's even very complicated.
A cardinal from the Vatican should not go legislating on a point like that. We must not speak from Rome on every detail, especially where there's no, we have to leave people to use their judgment on some things. They could be done this way, or that way, or that way. We leave people that freedom.
Thank you very much.